Hello, my beautiful people. I hope you're doing well. I was up tonight, and so I decided to come live because I was doing some research for tomorrow. We had so much stuff going on that I missed that I thought I would do an extra live for you. We don't do something this late in the afternoon. It's Friday night. I hope those of you that are staying home are doing well. Those of you that are out are doing it safely this Friday evening. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and I cover true crime, and we're going to kind of dive right in to our subject matter. I'm going to go over what we're going to be discussing. We've got Cash Gernon. That's this case right by next to me. Many people forgot about this because this happened in 2021. A lot of things happened in 2021. Summer Wells, Cash Gernon. We had Michael Monkey Vaughn, Gabby Petito. 2021 was a real crazy time in the true crime genre. And Cash Gernon was a really big case prior to Summer Wells. And then Summer Wells kind of took hold and everybody dived in. I was just coming in off of Gabby Petito and didn't really cover too much of Cash Gernon. But boy, what a crazy story this has become. And Darian, his name's Darian Brown, he actually... These were twin boys. Cash Gernon was one half of a twin, and he was taken from his... my camera started going. He was taken from his crib, and, you know, a sharp blade object was used to unalive him. He was found, I believe, was a half a mile away from his home. I believe in the middle of the road. Something like that, if I had to go off memory. And he was deceased. This guy, Darian Brown, has been in a mental hospital since. He was deemed incompetent to stand trial. And finally, after like 4 years, he ended up being released from that and went to court. And now there has been a plea deal reached. This was reached a few days ago. And he is now going to be spending the rest of his life in prison. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because we've been kind of touching on Cash Gernon off and on since Summer Wells. Since Summer Wells, we've been talking about Cash Gernon off and on. Just a horrible, and just insane story. Insane story. Just a normal day and literally the monster outside of the house. Just want to reiterate for Emmanuel Haro, if you missed this morning's live, Emmanuel Haro, even despite Mike Hestrin and Chad Bianco saying that they're not getting a plea deal this time. There's going to be no plea deal for Emmanuel Haro, Jake Haro, because he was responsible for another child and this other child being incapacitated, and now this child's deceased because of abuse. So clearly, when they gave him 6 months, that was, long story short, they swore to us that there was going to be justice this time. No plea deals. And now we come to find out that just several weeks ago, they're discussing plea deals in the Emmanuel Haro case. Now, I expect these plea deals to be much tougher than the original, but what's wrong with taking these cases? They told us they were going to take these cases to court. And now we're looking at a possibility of a plea deal. Okay, guys. The next case is kind of breaking. It is absolutely, utterly insane. I heard about this several hours ago out of Tennessee. There is I never heard of this place before. And apparently my initial understanding is they make explosive devices. I mean, I could be wrong. We are going to read some more about it, but I know when I was looking at this stuff, I realized that it appears that they create explosive devices at this particular, like maybe this is like when I put the name in Google, nothing popped up for me. When I put the address in Google, it popped up for me. It was a little weird, you know, kind of like do, right? So it makes me feel like this might be a military type of situation here, or an undisclosed military operation, or workings, or somebody that, and the reason why I say this is because look at, I don't know if you guys noticed the video, they look kind of like they're out in the middle of nowhere, like nobody's around them, there's no businesses around them, and there's this huge explosion that rocks the area. Unfortunately, the last time I checked, which was a couple hours ago, because I've been doing all this research, like I said, for tomorrow's show, and I decided to go ahead and go live because there's a lot of stuff here that I've missed over the last several weeks, and then of course some breaking news on top of that. So just trying to get everybody caught up. It's been, you know, been really, really rough on me, but this huge blast that rocks Tennessee, it is believed that all 19 employees are dead. We'll get some updated information by morning, but it's pretty bad, folks. It's pretty bad. So I just want to show you guys some of this stuff here. I don't know if I can play the music on here or not. Okay, I probably can't. I'm not going to play the music on here. I don't know what's good music.
Ooh. That we're looking for. So, excuse me. I ask you to keep in mind those families. This is probably one of the most devastating sites, I think. Sheriff Kraft and I was talking about. It's probably been one of the most devastating situations that I've been on in my career.
That's just the way it was filmed. Okay.
As far as the scene goes, we do feel that the scene is secure. We have ATF, FBI that are handling the scene as far as the investigative part, trying to figure out and recreate or figure out what actually happened to cause this. Do I see a short-term explanation? No.
So again, if you guys are just tuning in, don't forget to hit the like button on your way in here. But there was an explosion that happened in Tennessee, and I've looked at the area. The area is flat. Okay, I mean, flat. It is breathtaking. The condition of the area. It looks like a war zone there, you know? It was a blast. It was a blast from a company that I'm unfamiliar with that apparently manufactures potentially explosive devices. So I'm thinking that they may have had a mishap. And you can't have a mishap with all of that stuff. One thing, it's like a boom, boom, boom type of reaction. Hello, guys. It's nice to see you. Sorry, I'm not monitoring the chat like I should. Oh, I appreciate that, Melanie. Thank you so much for the super sticker. If you guys would like to participate, thank you. Ooh, look at whose it is. There's nothing left there at all, Seth says. I mean, it flattened it. It when I saw some of the footage, hey, Freeside, it was gone. Like, I looked at the site just to see what kind of building or anything. It's gone. Everything is gone. It's like gone. It's sad. It's sad.
Do I see us being here for many days? Yes, I do see that. We've got we've got the bomb squad from Metro Bomb Squad here. I don't really want to get in to start naming all the agencies I'm scared I'll miss somebody. We've got TBI, bomb and arson here. They're all working together. It's one of the things that I'm very happy to see is all of these agencies. It's not just one, but we've come together and we're making the very best team effort that we can to move forward. Please keep in mind that these families, and I've said it up front, I said it to start with, that's where our thoughts and prayers need to go.
Oof, did you guys see that? Look at that. It's just, it's rubble. It's rubble.
These families, I've said it up front, I said it to start with, that's where our thoughts and prayers need to go right now. And we've just got to take one day at a time or 1 hour at a time. We're processing things. We're finding out more information. We're trying to figure out, maybe the cause of this. There's not going to be a short explanation for that. I know I may have repeated myself there a little bit, and forgive me, but we're all tired and trying to put together the best effort we can and remember the families and who we're working for.
Give me just a second. I want to show you guys this. It's going to take me a second to send it to myself and get it up on the screen, but just bear with me while my computer does its thing. Hello, Mr. Seth. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, we did have some breaking news this evening, or this afternoon, rather, that there was an explosion at I can't remember, AES or something like that, I think is the name. I can't remember. They said it's like advanced something systems, right? It doesn't describe its company. We'll look up the company name because I already did it earlier. Let me actually look it up. I think I still might have it in my system, in my history. Oh yeah. No, it will only give us it'll only show us the place by address. It didn't show the place, but here it is. It's on this one. Accurate energetic system. Accurate energetic system. Hardly something that sounds like, bomb making material or whatever the case may be. Here, let me see if I can get this up for you guys there. Okay, there we go. It's, give me just a second. So this is what it was. That's the area. So, Accurate Energetic Systems LLC. Look at that parking lot. You have a nice parking lot there, parking spaces. Allegedly, there were about, 19 employees there at the time of the explosion, according to everything I heard earlier before this live. And again, they believe all 19 people are deceased, that they don't believe anybody has survived this. And if this really is what they do, if they make these bomb making materials or explosive devices, you got to understand, we use explosive devices for a multitude of things, predominantly in the building areas. You guys know how we have, like, say in New York, they have a lot of large buildings around areas. Well, sometimes they need to bring those buildings down, but because of the buildings being so close together and so tall, they have to find different ways of bringing those buildings down. So they typically use like C4 and engineers that put things on support, beams that are in there. So it kind of collapses on top. It's kind of like a scientific, scenario where things just collapse on top of each other. So it comes straight down versus falling forward, falling frontward, or falling to the side. It's actually quite interesting. So, just because they make this stuff doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be used for our military. Could be used for other stuff. Plus, they caught and disarmed a at Gate 10 in Fort Campbell. Wow. I don't know. It's pretty scary. Well, I think what's so scary right now is this is going on in our country after everything that we're dealing with right now. So it kind of gives you the EBGBs. Is this intentional or is this an accident? I think right now for me it appears that it's an accident, but again, what if it's not? What if it's not? Oh, thank you, Sheila. It's nice to see you. I appreciate that. Sending love, peace, and joy to you, Betty. Appreciate that. Big old hugs and kisses to you, my love. Well, let me move this out of the way real quick so they can see it. Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate that. Just like they used the Twin Towers. Well, that was, obviously planes, but what caused this explosion? How horrific. Yeah, Joanne, I'm not sure. They are investigating it, but, we need to keep on top of this because I find that one of the biggest problems that I have is that we start, because our minds are, and I've known this for a while doing this. The news cycle's about 2 weeks. In general senses, the news cycle is 2 weeks. That means like 2 weeks we'll be on to a new topic, a new topic, a new topic, a new topic. That's what's so great about social media in some of these cases, because we get into these cases and we drive these cases for years. Sometimes, like for example, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, we're still covering that case. We're still pushing that case out, and we're still getting a lot of good numbers still on that case, almost over 18 months after that case started, where you used to never have anything like that with mainstream media. But in the same sense, it's like these other cases like Charlie Kirk. I mean, look at gun ho about Charlie Kirk when everything happened, and now look at us. We're not even really talking too much about Charlie Kirk because there's no new information with Tyler Robinson just yet. The stuff that came out. We need to wait for discovery and for people to start sending more information about that case out. There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, some being driven by people I was actually surprised hearing them being driven by, like Candace Owens, but I digress. Here we have a situation in Tennessee where this particular, this it feels a little weird. It feels a little weird for me, and here's why. Because naturally doing my first initial research, I wanted to see how close this was, because this was an explosion. I wanted to see how long it was going to take me to get there. If I needed to go, and I wanted to do a front row, system, or live from here where it was going to be. So I found accurate energetic systems, and I plugged it into maps to find out where it was, and it said it didn't give me any results back. So I finally went to their website, looked up their address, plugged the address in, and finally the address showed this. I don't know if it was just mine, because obviously the one that I'm sitting here shows Accurate Energetic Systems LLC pinned on here. So this looks like a Google pin drop. So I don't know why, or maybe it was just breaking at the time and I was trying to look for the property and maybe everybody was looking. I don't know. Maybe it was a glitch. I don't know. I couldn't find this building without plugging in the actual physical address, which required me to go to their physical website and pull their physical address off their physical website. And that's how I was able to look it up. It's over 12 hours away from me, which is typical. Anywhere in Tennessee is about 12 hours away from me. But when I looked at the area that this was in, this place is literally in the middle of nowhere. There's not really anything around here. It made it weird. I got the EBGBs, but I couldn't look it up on the maps. And I had to plug in just the straight address to get the location. It was just weird for me. And so this right here, seeing this kind of in the middle of nowhere, it feels like this is a military type of organization that probably produces products for the military. Now, I can't guarantee that. I don't know that. They may have other products that they're sold. I may be off way off base here. I don't know. But this is pretty interesting to me. We had a building there, and now we do not. The building, the area, the concrete, even the concrete pad where these uh, vehicles are parked. It's like it's gone. And we're hearing in the chat that people felt this as far as 50 miles away. Did I read that right? Let me go up here and see if I can find that comment. I'm pretty sure somebody said that it was felt, that some people felt it like 50 miles away. Again, I could, yeah, Crystal Pistols, the one that said it. It said, I heard it was felt 50 miles away. I can't imagine. I can't imagine either. But and to hear this guy, you know, this guy that's on here right now giving this interview, this guy right here, he chokes up when he talks about this. So, I mean, to think that people are going to work and one mistake happens and everybody at work is literally obliterated. I can't, like, I can't mentally comprehend that. Wow, that's terrible. Yeah. Probably an arsenal. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, you know, in a situation like this, if this was the type of, you know, business that I'm hearing it was, it's one of those things where you have, I mean, any wrong mistake, it takes only one wrong mistake and kaboom. I mean, you got all of that material around you. I'm sure a lot of protocols are in place, but it doesn't really matter. It takes that only just one mishap and it's done. It's done, son. And so that might just be where we're at. So let's keep going and seeing if we can find out any additional information here.
I do want to touch on Accurate Energetic. They are here with us.
Okay, so I guess that was it for that particular one. So here's the are you guys seeing this? Like, it's just insanity. Look at that. Look at that. They are so proud of their safety record. But you know what they could? They could have perfect safety. They could have perfect safety and then just one thing be wrong. Because all it takes, it's a chain reaction because you've got so much explosive material there that one tiny ignition in, you know. Oh. Okay, let's just keep going. Let's keep going here. So we have okay, so what it says is 19 people are dead or missing after a massive blast obliterated a building at a Tennessee explosive factory on Friday, authorities say. A mass detonation so significant that it rattled homes miles away. Miles away. Crystal Pistols, you might be right. You might be right. The early morning explosion at Accurate Energetic System, which manufactures military and demolition explosive, left charred debris and mangled vehicles across a vast area. The blast was felt as far as 15 miles away. So you might have heard it. You might have misunderstood it. Somebody's saying 15 in it, because I've done that before. Hey, Army Vet, nice to see you. Looked up nano energetic materials are cutting edge and used in military. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I guess they just manufacture for military. No, it sounds like they also have demolition explosives, which is what I was discussing. You know, so because it seems probable that they would have something that serves the military as well as certain other businesses that are, license to use those types of material. But so they do. I guess it is confirmed in this article here that the left charred debris and mangled vehicles across a vast area. The blast was felt 15 miles away and scattered debris over a half a square mile. Oh my goodness. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis said there are fatalities, but did not want to declare a death toll yet. They did state that they were missing 19 people. I always wish for the best, David said. Is there a possibility that somebody might be injured somewhere, or somebody that we don't know? Yes. Davis describes the aftermath of the explosion as the most devastating scene he's ever seen in his career. It's hell, Davis told reporter Friday evening. It's hell on us. It's hell on everybody involved. Work at the explosion site will continue until the night, he said. And you got to think of that, a half a mile. People were in there. I know we don't want to think about that, but people were in there, and the radius is a half a mile. That's what they're looking for. I feel bad for the families. I just terrible. We're working for our people, and we want to take care of our families. And emotional Davis said, I understand some families get mad. I understand some people get upset. We're doing the very best we can to take care of this. You're talking about, and I understand that no no family understands something like this. No, they want to know right now, but you're talking about an entire building leveled, a debris field a half a mile. I mean, you're talking like, I don't know, like there's probably a person or two that's, may not be found at all, depending on how. I mean, this sounds pretty extensive, like obliteration extensive, and people do get mad, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, it's understandable. Investigators from multiple agencies have been assisting in the response. Do I see a short-term explanation? No. So they're going to be there many, many days, and nobody knows what happened. And with everybody gone, nobody's going to know, because in a facility like this, I mean, foul play, in all fairness, could be hidden very well. No, I mean, it's going to be hard. I don't know how they. Okay, spit it out. Spit it out, Andrew. Spit it out. Right? What I'm trying to say is if this is a bomb-making facility, if they make explosive devices and say they were identified, I mean, it doesn't look like they're really all that secure there. They're in the middle of nowhere, right? I mean, that's a good thing. But it doesn't seem like they're, hey, Sarah, it's nice to see you. I didn't see like this huge gate, like military style gate around the building. And if somebody marked it or knew that they were providing, explosive devices, or, making that type of material, could they, get on that property and set booby traps up? I mean, in this society, would that be so far-fetched for us to believe? It would not, first and foremost. Not in today's world, not in our new America. That would not be, completely off, conspiracy theory at this point. It really wouldn't. It actually could be probable. AES specializes in energetic energetic compounds. Well, you know, I don't think these materials offer high energy density, faster reaction rates, and customizable blast profile, ideal for special forces, aerospace, and covert operations. Very good, very good. Interesting information. Interesting information. I put that up on the screen. Hopefully the whole thing will. Yeah, it did. Good. Sometimes it cuts off. Sometimes I can get it all on there. Um, Perfect. We don't understand those things. The normal person, the average Joe, doesn't understand how these things work. We just know that they say you put this here, 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 things go boom, right? And we don't play with it. We let the professionals play with it. But this is one that I have to think that this company has been around for a very, very long time and know how to handle these type of materials. So it's making it very difficult for me to believe, and maybe it's the conspiracy theorist in me. It very well might be. It very well might be. But in this day and age where we're at right now, on the brinks of that big ugly word that's like starts with a C and ends with a WAR, it makes me wonder, because they just went kaboom, like the whole damn building. And so for people like me that realize what we're dealing with, not that it could have just been an accident, and it probably will be an accident, and it's probably going to be, but we just had another one of these things kind of go off at that other place. Remember the 3 SWAT members that were boomed? This is really weird in our society right now. I don't want to get on. I just, now I'm going into that down that rabbit hole, and I don't want to get there. So let's just get back on track. So I can tell you right off the top of my head that there's 3 families that involved in this. I'm very close to. Davis said, when you have small counties like this, we know each other. We communicate with each other. We love each other. So this is a small community. It sounds like these people all kind of know each other. And it sounds like even the sheriff there may know several of the family members of maybe some employees that might have lost their life. Given today's climate, I immediately thought of that possibility. All the evidence is gone, and we'll likely never know what truly happened. Sad. That's it, Spencer. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not. It's just that this. Who would know? Just like that whole thing with the SWAT and that bomb. They're the ones that handle the bomb making materials that they find out in the houses and out there in Los Angeles and Oakland and all them, and that those go back. And remember, there was a bomb that went off there too, and that they thought was suspicious. And then now we have an entire building leveled. It just seems like these are not necessarily soft targets. But it seems to me that if people don't know what they do, it's not a big deal. Like I wouldn't know this. But people's job, if their job is to attack, or do domestic terrorism, they would know this stuff. They would know that this company specifically makes XYZ and may choose to attack that specific organization because they make XYZ. I don't know. I don't want to get in the conspiracy, but it's hard not to in today's climate, I would just like to know what happened. This is a very I want to try to believe that it's an accident. Could camera systems be hooked up online? There may be something. They might even be able to get some people's camera footage if there's some type of camera footage, like on the computers or not computers, but on the phone. Was anybody in a meeting? Because there's a lot of Zoom conversations, telephone conversations. I'm sure they're probably looking at all of that. It seems like a lot of weird things are going on in our country all of the sudden. We went through all these rounds of planes crashing into, you know, other planes and other objects. Then we had this really crazy weather pattern where our country was just getting obliterated by 1,000-year storms. Like, I'm not trying to act crazy and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, there's just weird shit going on. And all of this, by the way, has all happened in the last, like, 9 months, year. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that there might be something going on that we have no earthly idea about because we don't think it. If you're not doing dirty, you don't think about being done, you know? So it's like climates we're living in. Yeah, but there's been a lot of different weird crap going on, Spencer. That's all I'm saying. We do think about it. We went through like 1,000-year storms back to back in weird places. Like, think about Kerrville, Texas, a 40 or 20-foot wall of water in the middle of a state that has no freaking, that had no ocean around it. It was like a tidal wave in the middle of a flippin' state. And then we start hearing that places like North Carolina, Virginia, didn't we hear like New York and New Jersey? Just everything just started. Well, we just had water coming out of everywhere. Literally, water was just coming everywhere. I don't know where the water was coming from. It was just coming out everywhere. Every place and weird places, water was just spewing out of. And so we go there, and then after, like, I can't remember if it was before that or after that, we started having planes and helicopters crashing into planes and planes just dropping out of the sky. And it's like all these things keep happening in clusters. It's like it's never just one, natural disaster. It was like 12. It was not just like one helicopter running into planes. It was like 3. So, I mean, it's weird how these things are clustered together, and I think that's what makes it so much more palatable for conspiracy theorists, because it seems unbelievable. But you know what? One thing I've learned in today's society is nothing is really unbelievable. If you can think it, somebody probably already has it being manufactured somewhere. Right? I mean, think about it. Once upon a time, there was a crazy movie. I don't know if you guys remember this. There was a crazy movie back in the day called Body Parts. Okay, this had to have been. It was either, if I remember it, it had to have been the 90s. So sometime in the 90s, there was a movie created called Body Parts. Okay, this is where somebody was driving down the road, got into an accident, and lost their extremities or their life, and they had to sew another extremity on to a person. It's this crazy, scary movie type of things, and somebody got the hand of a murderer, and so the hand kind of came alive and started killing people. Guys, this is the 90s, okay? Work with me here, okay? We're talking about the damn 90s. I didn't write the script. It was what we got to watch back in the day. Anyways, I will never get up behind a car with a wobbly tire, because this is where the beginning of this movie starts, right? The wobbly tire. The tire was wobbling, and then it shoots off the freaking car and causes this major wreck. Long story short, somebody got a murderer's arm, and the arm started strangling people, okay? And he had no control over the damn arm. It was scary, okay? Back in the 90s, it was what kept us up at night, okay? But anyways. But you never really thought that was true, right? Back in them days, them attaching, taking organs, making hands stay alive, changing out body parts. I mean, it was science fiction. It was science fiction. Yet today, it's a common practice. There's a lot of things that we replace in our bodies: lungs, livers, pancreas. I don't know if they do pancreas. I don't think they've done. I don't know if we've ever done a pancreas transplant. Whatever it is, pancreatic transplant. Never heard of one before. I don't know why we wouldn't. Why wouldn't we? Heck, we even learned that they're growing parts in labs. Again, once upon a time in the 90s when we had this movie called Body Parts, it was just a fantasy. It was just fiction. So anything that we're talking about here in this day and age, I believe that if you can think it, it can be possible. I don't believe in conspiracy theories a whole lot anymore. I believe that that's what people tell you to make you doubt what you're thinking or what you're believing or your senses. I think they call it conspiracy theories so they have a way out. Because for years and years and years, the idea of there being aliens, we were all laughed out, right? We were all, when people told us they were abducted by aliens, we laughed at them. We thought they were cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I guarantee a few of those people went to an insane asylum because of it. And now we're finding out because our government is forcing, congressional oversight to find out. And we're finding out, wait a minute, there truly were aliens coming here and still are. And still are. So now all those people that were thrown in insane asylums for saying that they were abducted and had testing done to them, it makes you wonder. I'm sure there are a few crackpots in those numbers. I mean, in any number, I'd have to think. With attention to a subject matter, you do get a little wackadoo here or wackadoo there. We get it in this line of business, right? But it's very interesting. No aliens, no demons. Yeah. I mean, maybe. I don't know, I believe there are beings out there. I've never believed that we are the only solar system in the big black nothing. I bet you there are human beings living on planets just like Earth in some other solar system out there. I've always thought we were... I think this is all a project. I don't know where we come from. Okay? Neither do you. Let's be honest. None of us know. Okay? Maybe the whole damn Earth and the solar system is one big psych op. I mean, who knows? All right, I don't need to go get my tinfoil hat. Don't make me go get my tinfoil hat. Don't make me get my tinfoil hat. So 9 people are dead or missing. 19 people, rather. I looked at... I think it's all the same, basically the same report. Oh, here's some new information right here. Okay, we got some new information that hasn't been disclosed yet. After seeing that, if there were 19 people that were truly accounted for at work that day that have not been accounted for, whether they've, found their bodies or not, if they were inside that building, I'm almost confident they're gone. Okay? I'm not saying that to be nasty or rude at all. I'm not saying that. But there's nothing left. Okay? It's making it quite difficult for me to believe somebody could survive that. I mean, think about, even if they were not hit with shrapnel, okay? You're talking about a blast that would most likely liquefy organs. So you're talking... I don't see where anybody would have been able to survive this blast, even if they were in the parking lot inside one of the vehicles, and one of those vehicles look like it's still standing. Okay? Because the blast itself is going to, in my opinion, liquefy your insides. Now, I could be wrong. My biology may be a little rusty, but I'm pretty sure a blast can turn the insides into mush. Just pure mush. And God knows what it's going to do to your eyes, or, you know, I mean, you're talking about forced. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to theorize that. I just don't. It's awful. Just the thought of it. 19 beautiful souls. Some of them are probably young folks, moms and dads, grandparents, you know. You just don't want to think like that. You just don't want to think like that. So let's see what kind of new information we can find out here. Davis said investigators from multiple agencies. We got that. Do I see short-term explanation? Blah, blah, blah. Families of victims were still being notified, said Davis, noting that people were undergoing a gauntlet of emotions as first responders. I can't imagine being, having to deliver this kind of message. I can tell you were on top. I can tell you right off the top of my head that there are 3 families that were involved. We already heard that. The blacks shook nearby homes, set off smaller explosions. That's interesting. Maybe from the gas lines, potentially. The explosion, which happened at 7:45 a.m. local time, was a devastating blast, but responders were able to secure the scene by late morning. 3 people with minor injuries from the explosion were treated at TriStar Medical Facility in Dixon. So it looks like 3 people had minor injuries. That's a positive. That's a positive. So in Dixon, Casey Stapp, the spokesperson for TriStar Health, said 2 people were released. 1 person is still receiving treatment at an emergency room. In a statement Friday, I'm interested in finding out where those 3 people were in the building, where they could, where they survived. In a statement Friday evening, Accurate Energetic System called the blast at its facility a tragic accident. If they're calling it at their facility a tragic accident, they must have an understanding of what happened, what truly happened at that facility. I don't know if they would have put that, the tragic accident aspect on here if they didn't know, I mean, I could be wrong. They were probably outside. Yeah, hopefully. Well, I did see some, some of the vehicles on that one side. They had debris over them, but they looked like, for the most part, the vehicles were in decent condition. I mean, they might have had some blown out windows. We couldn't see that from those photos, but it's possible. Hey, Al or Henry, AI. It's probably Al. It's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. So let's keep going. The company specializes in making military explosives. That's why they're calling it a tragic accident. I think somebody made a mistake, and like I said, in a facility like that, it only takes one. You have one mistake and everybody's gone. Because if it's an explosion, even a minor explosion, it has a triggering effect throughout, and that might be setting off small explosions. That it may have been an accident in one area that triggered the entire, the whole entire facility just to go boom, 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 boom until it was all boom. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families, coworkers, and community members affected by the incident. The company said on Facebook, we extend our gratitude to all first responders who continue to work tirelessly under difficult conditions. The company, which specializes in making military explosives, is located about an hour southwest of Nashville, Tennessee, on Hickman and Humphrey County line. The Humphrey County Sheriff's Office told CNN. The company's Facebook page says it manufactures various high explosive compositions and specialty products for U.S. DoD and U.S. industrial markets. Last month, the U.S. Department of Defense awarded Accurate Energetic System a contract for nearly $120 million for the procurement of TNT, dynamite. Investigation may last for days, mayor says. Hickman County Mayor Jim Bates said the facility has about 80 employees, but it's unclear how many were in the building when the explosion happened. Wow. There might be more than 19 people, folks. I mean, it was 7:45 in the morning, so maybe the workday didn't start until 8, but most people show up but anywhere between 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, if you're more than 15 minutes early or less than 15 minutes early, you're already late. But with them having about 80 employees and them being unclear about how many people were in the building, I don't know how they're assuming the 19 are the ones that are missing. Maybe they've accounted for them and they just, by this story, they didn't have the information in. Anyways, it's pretty devastating, Bates said. It's going to be an investigation that probably going to go on for days, the mayor said. This facility, they do manufacture not only military but demolition explosive for road work and things like that. Numerous law enforcement resources from across the state of Tennessee have been dispatched to assist in the investigation, a source familiar to TNT told CNN rather. Those personnel include federal agents in the Tennessee Highway Patrol Special Operations Unit, among other agencies. The relatively remote area is typically patrolled by smaller law enforcement departments, the person said, which has prompted other agencies to volunteer resources and support. There was some more information down here. Plant had previous blasts and OSHA fines. Ooh, some interesting bad juju at this particular facility. The plant suffered another blast that killed a worker a decade ago, according to the media reports. The federal data shows it had faced fines related to work safety practice. In April 2014, one person was killed and 4 others were injured during a blast at the plant, CNN affiliate WSMV reported. The explosion in the back of the building that housed shotgun ammunition caused extensive damage. At the time, authorities said several companies operated on Accurate Energetic Systems property, but the blast happened in an area operated by Rio Ammunition, so it really wasn't them. It was another company operating out of the area. Years later, records from Occupational Safety and Health Administration shows Accurate Energetic System was fined $7,200 after the 2019 inspection found violations for standards involving the use of PPE, employee exposure to contaminants, and employee training about safety hazard, among other citations. The records show the company contested the violation and eventually came to a formal settlement. Additional details about the inspection and its conclusions weren't immediately available, and it's not clear whether the plant has faced any more recent health or safety inspections. Interesting. Interesting. So there was a blast at the ammunition factory that was in the same building as them. Might have been ran by them for all we know. I mean, for them to have a blast a decade later that leveled the place. Over the last 9 years, AES filed annual injury reports with OSHA showing it had a total of 46 work-related injuries, but no work-related deaths going back to 2016, the earlier year with data available. In 2024, the most recent year data was available. The company reported 5 injuries and 1 other illness. 2021, a former employee sued and alleged that they were improperly terminated after being blamed for a fire that broke out in the facility the previous year. The company disputed that claim and the suit was dropped after mediation. So it doesn't sound like this place is without some of its own, issues, so to speak. I think we've got an idea of what happened. I don't anticipate this particular story being much different than anything that we've read so far. It sounds like we've got some issues here. They're worried about the economic impact because the plant was a key employer for the area. So it sounds like this was a staple business. That's going to be sad. People are losing family and losing job pay and stuff like that. It's got to be very hard. We don't think about those other types of casualties. So now we're going to be getting into some other discussion points here. We've already went over Cash Gernon, the update on Cash Gernon, which is a huge major breaking information where finally Darian Brown is going to be behind bars for the rest of his life. I was wondering if the day would ever come because it seemed like the judges just threw him into a mental ward and let him go astray. Emmanuel Haro, it sounds like even though Mike Hestrin, the DA, as well as Chad Bianco, was up at the podium telling us they were not going to take a plea. Shame on the prior judge. It sounds like there might be a plea deal brouhaha for the parents, Rebecca and Jake Haro. And then, of course, we just went over the huge blast that the huge blast that rocks Tennessee, and it's believed that all 19 employees are dead, but we just learned through some reporting that there could have been up to 80 employees in that building at that time, and there is possibility that for more than 19 people or 19 employees to be deceased. We don't know if all the employees have been accounted for or what the true number of the ones that have not been accounted for are. And now we're getting in here because the White House is now signaling federal layoffs that have begun amid the federal shutdown. So if you've been following me, we've been discussing some of these things. Now, granted, we do have a political channel, and I do have a political live set up for Sunday at 3 p.m. and I hope you guys can be there for that. But this is updated information. I know we have a lot of people in our channel that are on fixed incomes, that are on WIC, that are on some type of assistance from our government, and are very concerned about what happens when the government shuts down. Those things could be affected. The good news is it sounds like we're trying to make sure that WIC stays open. We did hear that there is money being moved around from the tariffs that were received. We have a few billion or a few $trillion. I think it may be high billion or $1 trillion there that's going to be moved to cover the WIC, so moms and children don't go without, which is a good move. We do have some issues because there's going to be some military expenses that are not going to be paid. And I never thought about this, but there are military families that have, children that are sick or need medical attention, need medication, that will not be getting it because their family member's not going to be getting a paycheck. What about other people that are on military, that are paid by the military that are disabled now? What about their, VA and stuff like that? That's all going to be shut down in part. There's going to be some places open. I'm sure there is going to be things that are going to be available, but not to the tune of what they were, where people that are already disadvantaged are further disadvantaged by this shutdown. Well, now we have decided to start laying off those federal employees, firing them, where they're not going to be coming back. Okay, so what has happened in this, and it doesn't matter what side you're on this argument, at the end of the day, we have a budget. and they're working on hatching out the terms of the budget. Now, the big beautiful bill that was just paid stripped a lot of the illegal funds that were going to illegal aliens and other foreign uh, foreign countries that didn't need it, for crap that we just don't believe in. Okay, I'm not trying to hand out condoms in Iran. Iran can buy their own condoms, okay? I'm being facetious here, but you guys are getting my point. We're not this piggy bank for the entire world, and we're having a showdown right now where for no good reason. I don't know where it's coming from. We had clean CR that has been passed over and over and over again, but they're angry because Donald Trump got the big beautiful bill passed, which stripped a lot of illegals from being able to be on the tit of the federal government, and I totally support that. But I digress. We are now getting into the stage of what do we do with our government? What things stay open, what things get paid, and those all have to be decided. Well, now because the Democrats are refusing to just pass the clean CR, now Donald Trump is saying, fine, you want to hurt families, we're done. We're done playing nice. We've given you every opportunity to open up the country. You're still fighting on a losing argument. We're not handing you $1.4 trillion for a slush fund. We're not doing it. And if that's what you want, we'll keep the country shut down. We have a clean continuing resolution bill that they will not pass. So now they're saying we're going to start firing. We're going to start shutting down the programs the Democrats want, and we're going to start firing federal employees. And when the Democrats are tired of their employees being fired and tired of their slashes coming, then maybe they will be willing to open up the federal government. So that's kind of where we are going with this. It's not that I'm saying that this is the right way to do this thing or the wrong way, but we don't have $1.4 trillion to hand out. So they're being unreasonable. The Democrat Party knows we do not have $1.4 trillion just to dole out in 7 weeks, and we're not going to do it. So we're either going to sit here with our government completely shut down, or somebody needs to start calling their politicians. I'm just saying. So the sound vote sounds layoff sirens. So he has begun firing people. He has already started giving people the pink slip. Also, if you guys did not hear the news, our president is, and I quite frankly, I think he has every right to be upset. The Nobel Peace Prize committee did not select Donald J. Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I know he was working very hard for it. I'm not, I didn't save the world. Donald Trump did. I mean, I would honestly think if I saved the world, I would want at least a prize for that, a Nobel Peace Prize for saving the world, okay? He missed out, whatever. Maybe next year, I don't know. I think whatever committee selects these people, I think they were rude. I think they are wrong. Not that the person that they called didn't probably deserve it. But I don't see, how this is what it says. Trump speaks of the Nobel Peace Prize winner Mikado after his administration denounced the decision to award it to her. I think she did something, it's not really that big. What did they do? I know she helped with something. I can't remember. Oh, promoting democratic rights in Venezuela versus saving the entire world. It was wrong, whatever. But as you guys know, there is a ceasefire officially in effect in Gaza. And so the hostages are being released. The countdown begins. And Israel has to release a shit ton of bad guys from their prison and get those out. I don't know what happened here. I'm reading about this, the Palestines, or the Palisade fires. Remember, we have Spencer out there. Gavin Newsom shut off the water out in California, and a fire kind of erupted from a previous fire, and it took down the Palisades, and the Palisades have not been built. And then Gavin Newsom and Mayor Bass, they wanted to go in there and steal everybody's property and build this ridiculous low income Section 8 housing on top of these people's beautiful properties. It was a hot mess express. Well, we found out some douchebag with a chip on his shoulder from Florida. Like I said, we have problems. We just don't have riots. But apparently he's the one that set the fire. He had a bad day and he decided to put it ablaze. I don't get it. He didn't do the Palisades. The Palisades were from the area that he did burn, and he watched it and he recorded it. It was like, I don't know what else to say other than that. What a douchebag. Elderly people, what was it, 12 or 13 elderly people lost their lives because of that? And it was this douchebag having a bad day with a chip on his shoulder? What a shame. What a shame. All that property. All of that. And to hand Gavin Newsom millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars. Palisade victims never seen any of that money. They should be in jail. Gavin Newsom's nothing but a criminal. Sorry, not sorry. I thought I'd let you guys know that Rex Heuermann, he's the serial killer, the Gilgo Beach serial killer, one that we know as Long Island serial killer. I can't remember if he's up to 6 or 7. I think he's got 6 bodies that they've got DNA coming back to him. Well, he went to the courts and he's been trying to get these all split up into their separate trials. He's trying to split them all apart. It makes it a lot more difficult, process. It's beneficial to him to do that, to make it long and drawn out as possible. And the judge turned that down. And the cases will not be separated. Let me just make sure I got my notes right here. Palisade fire starter from Florida, 29-year-old Jonathan Rinderknecht worked a shift as an Uber driver and drove 2 passengers on separate trips between 10:15 p.m. and 11:15 p.m. The passenger reportedly told authorities they remembered that Rinderknecht appeared agitated and angry. And then we have Rex Heuermann. He tried to separate his case into multiple trials, and the courts did not grant that request. So it appears he will be tried at the same time for all of the victims. And we got a couple news stories coming up. I got them out of order. Clearly, I got them out of order. Where is my my Qatar Air Force Base conversation? I missed a couple. So anyways, we'll get on to this North Carolina lawmaker guy. But we've been having a lot of people that have concerns, and if you don't know this, I'm going to tell you guys right now. Qatar has approval from the Pentagon to build an Air Force facility in Idaho, and it's got people in our country livid. Absolutely livid. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but it doesn't make me feel comfortable. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not on the bandwagon yet on condemning this Air Force facility. I want to know why it's being built. How are we going to protect Americans, from something bad? We've never had foreign air bases that I'm aware of on our land before. We're making sure the Chinese can't purchase our farmland, so why in the world are we allowing Qatar to build an Air Force in Idaho? That's a little scary for me. I'm not going to lie, but, I'll let you guys make a decision for yourself, how you feel about it. I'm just reporting to you what I'm learning about, you know? And that's all I can do. That's all I can do. It's bothersome for me. I don't know what you want me to say. So we also have a Democrat lawmaker in North Carolina that was just picked up on some serious charges of diddling with an underage teenager. Now, granted, it's not a under 12-year-old, thank God, but it's a 15-year-old. Had an Uber going to pick up a young child, 15 years old. The Uber canceled because the person wasn't there. The congressman called law enforcement about his friend. Then they realized the friend was a 15-year-old girl, and so they reported it to somebody else. And then they did an investigation and found out that he was having this relationship with a 15-year-old girl, and he is now in jail. And his name is Cecile Brockman. Democrat congressman gets caught up in a sex scandal with an underage girl, and it lands him behind bars. It lands him behind bars. And it sounds like this has been going on for a while, so there he is right there. Doesn't look like he should be doing anything with a underage child. Seems like he should be able to get a normal female. A North Carolina lawmaker, Guilford County, who's charged with child S crimes, was ordered not to contact the victim by a judge on Friday while appearing in court. The district attorney reveals more allegations against Cecile Brockman, 41, who's charged in 2 felony counts of statutory S offenses with a child and 2 felony counts of indecent liberties with an underage individual. The court documents reveal the incident occurred on August 15th. On August 15th, those details include how investigators said Brockman met the victim and also about the incident that occurred on October 5th, which led authorities to contact North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, or NCSBI, to begin the investigation on Brockman. He kind of did it to himself. Oh, thank you. Who was that? Spencer, thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Oh, what a cute little poopy. I love little poopies. I love little poopies. Where else are we? Prosecutors said on October 5th, Brockman called the Davidson County 911 because his friend went missing. However, Davidson County called 911 dispatchers realized the missing person was a teenager. Prosecutors said Brockman told the emergency dispatcher he was tracking his friend, who was identified as the victim from an app. He met this underage girl on a dating app. His phone was seized. He's in the hospital. I don't know what he's in the hospital for. He claimed that he had some type of situation before his previous appearance, and he's issued a bond of over $1 million. Brockman currently serves. He's a current state representative. Can you believe this? He's a current state representative. He's currently working for the people and bangy with the underagey. I don't get it. I don't get what is up with these freaks. Like, keep your hands off the kids. Good gracious. And we got another lady dumping her child. They're doing a freaking landfill search. Somebody called a wellness check. Child's autistic. You know, really reminds me a lot of Sebastian Rogers in a sense. With the exception of the law enforcement went to the mom's house and she tried to act like she didn't even have a kid. I mean, there's that as well. So now they're looking for this child. We're going to be going over this case a little bit more and more in detail because it's just wild. It's just wild. Go to the knock at the door and the lady's trying to act like she never had a son before. I mean, insanity. Absolutely insanity. So we'll be breaking this case down very, very, very soon. If you guys have not heard about this, This is police are searching for an 11-year-old boy with autism, where his mother allegedly denied having a child when questioned by authorities. The boy, Jacob Pritchett, was reported missing following a welfare check at his mother's apartment in Brooklyn. Authorities have subsequently been searching a landfill in upstate New York where garbage from New York City was taken. Authorities in upstate New York have joined the search for an 11-year-old Brooklyn boy with autism who hasn't been seen for more than a week. The New York City Police Department released a sketch of Jacob Pritchett. Can you believe that? Poor little boy doesn't even have a blessed photo, folks. Doesn't even have a blessed photo. Poor baby. He deserved better than that. His mom deserves to be in jail. Look at that. They had to do a sketch of the boy. A blessed sketch. That's horrible. That's horrible. If you guys have seen this boy, maybe he was sold. You know, you're talking about a mother in Brooklyn that tried to not deny having her child. We know about drugs. We know about the epidemic, the drug epidemic. We know about, HT, ST, all these other things. The trafficking aspect of life out there on those streets. Is this one of those things, or did she unalive her son and then try to act like she never had a boy? I don't know. It's that serious. We've got problems in this country. And I truly believe if we keep the drugs out of this country, our country will start healing. Our country will start getting better. I really, truly believe that. I just truly do. We also have, I'm going to actually, I think I might, is this California or Florida? I think this is Florida. It is. Damn it. This is another case out of Florida. It's really sad. We're hearing a 15-year-old boy shot and killed his classmate. And I'm actually considering writing and doing a research report on adolescent and juvenile crime becoming more violent. Today, and I know I haven't brought this stuff up just yet, but today, while I was doing research for tomorrow's show, which I ended up deciding to do tonight because I've got enough to go over tomorrow. I don't have any photos of this boy that lost his life, but there was another one from 11-year-old that shot and killed or stabbed a 13-year-old. Another one that was 14 and 15, and they were just kind of all in a row on whatever that search, I got standard searches. So if you don't know how I search, I've got standard searches I check every single day, like missing, child, USA or Florida or whatever the case may be. But I always search certain things, and I search the same certain criteria when I do my searches. It seems to be, it covers a lot, it covers a lot. And on this particular request that I plugged in, it brought up all these cases, and they were violent cases, of young kids. Young kids under, like this one here is, where's my sheet of paper? This one here is, what do we say his age was? 15 years old. The ones that I seen were under 13. It was 13, 12, 11, maybe a 14 was in there. But this was all under. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, this seems like our youngsters are becoming more violent, and they're utilizing things like firearms. What are making them? See, when I was younger, and this is what I'm going to recommend, to all of our people here. If you have a child and you have a firearm in your house, you need to be teaching your child about that firearm. You need to be teaching that child the do's and don'ts. It's kind of funny when you teach your child the do's and don'ts, they don't. They really don't. I was taught never to point a gun at somebody's cranium. Not even a water pistol, right? Not even a water one. You can shoot them anywhere, but upstairs. And we never understood that. And we got our butt whipped. If we took one of those and shot people in the face with the water, we would get our butt whipped. Not because it was annoying and we should never shoot anybody in the face with water. It was the fact that we had that water pistol in our hand and chose to use it in somebody's face. That the parents and everybody were teaching all of us children not to point at the head. So I absolutely believe, but you got to remember, by the time I was 5 or 7 years old, we were shooting watermelon, beer cans, and everything else, and we were forced gun safety because our parent, we had them. You don't, your parents are not going to hand you something like that out in the country without monitoring you. They would never allow us to have those without an adult supervision. And anytime that we were shooting when we weren't using BB guns and we were shooting like watermelons and stuff, our parents were right there. There was nothing. Our parents were right there, making sure that we did everything correctly. So I'm just saying, I think no matter what we do, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. You teach your child fire safety. They have a bad day. All that goes out the window. It's just we're just in a society where you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. All I'm going to tell you to do is do your best. If your gut tells you to teach your children certain things, teach your children certain things. Don't fight yourself. I find I quit fighting myself a long time ago because I noticed that crap would just fall in front of me and I'd pick it up and put it on the counter. And then I'd be out on the road and something will happen and it's like I need that item. And I remember it falling out in front of me and me picking it up because it fell. I wasn't intentionally trying to get it, and I put it on the counter. I learned over the years, whenever I was traveling, if something fell out in front of me, I grabbed it and threw it in my bag. And you would not believe how many times, more than not, that item that fell in front of me at the house was actually needed on the trip. It is insane. And after that, every time something falls in front of me, I take it with me. So, I think we have a couple more things here and we're about done. Body found in Saratoga Hills. 3 suspects. Did I not read this? I don't remember Saratoga Hills. It's been a while. I think these are the ones I didn't want to go over yet. There should have been 4 of them. Yeah, these are ones for tomorrow. Yes, we have a 12-year-old girl that has remains in a house. And so we're going to be talking about that tomorrow as well. So there's the little boy right there, mother acting like she didn't have a son. And the reason why I say this is because we're finding an uptick, at least I am. I'm noticing an uptick in autistic children losing their life or disappearing from home under unusual circumstances, and parents are just getting on with their life. We have one that's going on right now in the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. His mother, he went home with his mother, fell asleep inside their home. The next morning, she wakes up, reports him missing, and after extensive investigation, nobody can ever see that child ever leaving their home. But there were flashlights on the outside of the house that went to a vehicle parked down the road, and there was a blob carrying a blob. We can't make out anything other than that, but law enforcement is trying very hard for us to believe that didn't happen when we know damn well it did. So anyways, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me this evening. Please don't forget to come back again. I am Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime, and I wanted to get you guys caught up on the latest and greatest of the cases that we have been covering for some time, but just have not had an opportunity to go over the updates. So hopefully you guys learned something. Please don't forget to hit that like button coming in and going out. There is a hype button, so please don't forget to give me a hype as well. And if you would like to donate, please don't forget super chats, super stickers, or super thanks are always appreciated. never required. You guys have a wonderful evening, and God bless each and every one of you.